I wanted maybe to ask a first question about the writing process. You and Eskil have been working together for many years. You both direct your own film. But what was the starting point of this film? You use the character of played by Renate, that's sort of a continuation maybe of Julie, not really, but she could be also a version of her. There's also a point, starting point, which is a house that is developed in the film that's really strong. And I wanted to know a little bit about the starting point for both of you.
Well, the thing when Joachim and I write together, and we've been doing that since the short films, we've been working together, being friends for a long, long time. And when we start, the starting point is always nothing, But this time, Joachim really wanted to work again with Renate. So that was on the table. And we had this idea of doing something with sisters and the complex relationship between sisters and how you can grow up in a family, and because of age difference and because of your personality bringing out something different from your parents, you kind of live in the same home but you have different childhoods, and that was a big part of what we were trying to do in the beginning. And then we also thought we needed something. We always look for something that can bring us out of just like a normal drama and give more perspective or being more philosophical or lyrical so we were looking for something. And at the same time, Joachim's mother was trying to sell like a house that's been in his family for a long time. And he was like leaving the writing room, like, sorry, Eskil, I need to take this. This is my mother. And we didn't get any offers, so we have to put it back on the market. And then after a while, we said, maybe this can be part of the story. Maybe that's what we need. So that's maybe, one answer to that question. Do you want to add something there, Joachim?
No, I think that was brilliant, Eskil. I know it's true. It's the two film geeks sitting in a room, procrastinating, having a bit of anxiety, listening to music, and slowly, through all the talk about movies, personal stuff comes up. And for this one, we thought about reconciliation and family and something about that area. But I also think we need to get specific ideas. I think the way we write is more fragmented than a lot of people. I meet colleagues that are very good and they kind of pitch a story very early in their process. And I kind of admire that. It's not how
we're not very professional in our way of working, which you probably can see, Hopefully there's some good and some bad in that, but yeah.
I think it's more like beats and moments and scenes, and we like to explore character as a starting point. And we started with sort of the triangle in the middle, the two sisters, the father, and then Rachel Kemp came in as a catalyst and kind of made the whole story into a story, which was very exciting. So, and then we actually started more and more. I mean, the first film you make, you have to do every stage, and it takes time. You write the script and you wait for financing, and then you're allowed to direct it, and sometimes I even have to wait be allowed to edit and then release. And now we're trying to do more of an integrated creative process, so that writing 4 actors is something important. And Stellan, we really wanted to work with. So a part of believing in the project, because it's a lot about faith, really, was also going to Sweden and trying to convince, in my view, one of the best actors in the world to come and play an asshole of a father and give him humanity. So.
Did that happen? It was really funny outside in the street when people would come up to you and say, like, I love you in Mamma Mia, which it's great. It wasn't the first film that came to my mind when I saw you in the film. But how did you get convinced that you were one of the great actors and you needed to be part of the project?
Well, I had been waiting for him to call for a while. He's slow in the beginning, but then he came and I played coy for a while, and I said, oh, well, I don't know. And he presented the film, and it was really good script. I don't know. But eventually I said yes, and that's it.
He told you, I'm giving you a movie with loads of daughters as opposed to sons for a change. See if you could work that up.
Yeah, thank you.
I wanted to, I mean, you obviously worked many, many times with the team, but it was really nice to see also like this interaction played by you, Inga, and also with you, Elle. So I was wondering if maybe, Inga, you can start about the role that was given to you of the sister who has a, I mean, you have the same background in the film and you end up completely differently. You started as an actress and you go completely in a different direction, but you're the one that's really together, that seem very together with the perfect life, even if we can see things and cracks. I was wondering what was your reaction when you read the script and how you embraced this role?
My first reaction was that it was like reading a novel, to be honest. It was lovely, and it resonated with me in many ways. And when we started working, we had rehearsals. We got to like try a lot of stuff out before, together with the other actors on the locations, which really filled the character with sort of lived life already, for me at least. Yeah, just like this whole sisterhood, the working with the theme of sisterhood is really interesting, and that they live the same life, but that, of course, like all siblings, it's completely different. And I think for Agnes, she's able to be a safer and more secure person because she had a protector growing up. Which is really beautiful, and so she can be her sister's protector in adulthood because of that. Yeah, what was there more?
There's some cracks.
The cracks, yeah, there are some cracks, of course, like for everyone. But I think Agnes has chosen her life. She knows what she wants. We talked about that a lot, actually, that yeah, her father and her sister judge her a little because it's more conventional, her life. But it's a very active choice that she made. She wants love, she wants security and safety, and she wants a family, and she made that for herself. And she was able to because she's able to receive love in a way that maybe Nora isn't. I don't know. Yeah, but she's also had like traumatic experience with her father. We're making a movie with her father that she doesn't necessarily know was traumatic, you know? Yeah.
Thank you. Elle, you were brought into quite an interesting Scandinavian cast as an American actress.
I'm Scandinavian. Didn't you hear my accent?
Yes.
I can speak perfect Norwegian. What are you talking about?
I'm hoping that the shoot was a little more welcoming than the sort. I mean, no, very nice, but we make a little bit fun of the character sometimes when trying with the accent. And she's so naive; she believes it's an IKEA. Still what my mother used, but it's a really, really great performance. And I wanted to hear from you about coming into the shoot and if you were maybe familiar with Joachim's work before and what attracted you to take the role?
Yes, no, I was, and The Worst Person in the World, I think, like most of us probably in this room, I think is one of the best films of, last decade. Like, I love that movie so much. Oh, yeah.
we like that one too,
And so, yeah, being a fan, you have like a list of directors or people that, you would dream to work with, and Joachim was on that list after seeing that film. And when I heard that there was a part that in one of his films that could possibly be for me, for an American actress, I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You start to feel like, oh, I want that so bad, whatever it is, even before reading the script. And Mike Mills is someone that is a friend of ours, and I worked with him on 20th Century Women, and I think I'm very grateful to him because he kind of suggested me for the part to Joachim. And we got to meet and do the Zoom and reading the script. Like Inga said, it does read like a novel. Like, it's so beautiful and it was so moving. And I was really excited to tackle the character of Rachel. Like, she's she's interesting because I think, you know, she could easily slip into just the comedic relief or into, you know, someone that you write off as the silly kind of snobby Hollywood star. And there has to be elements of that at the beginning, but I love how she really transforms throughout the movie and kind of playing with those layers and playing with her confusion of being miscast entirely for a part, but she is actually quite talented and kind of revealing her talent that Gustav does see in her, but he also isn't giving her any answers, you know, and as an actor, you're kind of desperate for that. And it, yeah, there was a lot of moments. I mean, I think also that the monologue scene that I do, and then, you know, later Renate has to read too, that's like the moment of playing that, of that acting within the acting or the emotion that you're feeling, and how Rachel's relating to that text of saying, you know, I want a home, what that means to her, what that means to an actress, but also kind of getting excited by her, you know, getting more emotional, and then the difference of her kind of authentic emotion that she shows Gustav when she does kind of do a very brave thing, which is unexpected, and walks away from the part. And it was just so fun to play in that area. And Joachim just creates this environment for you where it does feel like boundless, like it's endless. And a movie that does hold so much like emotional depth was just filled with so much light and joy, like on the film set. And even like the camera was, we shot on film, and Casper Tuxen like covered the camera in this George Harrison guitar, psychedelic. I don't know, you can explain that, but I love this. It was every day the camera would be looking at you, and it was like this joyful psychedelic pattern, and it's like, but it's this traumatic family story, but then it was like, wow, like it's looking at you, and it's just pure happiness on the set, and so you don't have to torture yourself in order to experience those deep things, which I think Joachim knows well, and it's right, it's true.
Oh, but thank you. But I think you're on to something we haven't talked about so much, which is that this film is invertedly, very often you work with kind of a dark canvas behind everything. But in this one, it's actually, as I think you, Inga, was very, you talked a lot about how love and the compassion that you show your sister, and slowly how there is this little moment of maybe some reconciliation towards the end, like that positive power, that gentleness is actually the dramatic climax of the film, rather than for it to be tragic. And Eskil and I and Renate, we made some tragedies before. Oslo August 31st ends quite differently, but I feel that we were at a stage as a group, as a band, where we wanted to convey a different emotion of hope or something that we, I don't know, many of us feel we need at this moment. So that's something we've been talking about. And just to give some homage to George Harrison and explain what she was just describing, Eskil and I, we were watching the beautiful Peter Jackson Get Back documentary. Have many here seen this? It's a masterpiece, isn't it? And the greatest geniuses of the history of art, in my opinion, were struggling, and they were having their interrelational problems breaking apart. And in the middle of that, they made beautiful music. And George Harrison painted his Rocky Stratocaster with some beautiful colors, and we put that on the writing wall to say, in this one, we turn up the colors, we turn up the emotion. We wanted to be braver, and if people thought we were cheesy and laughed at us, we wouldn't give a shit and try to like go further. And so when we came on set, Casper Tuxen, the wonderful DP, had painted the whole camera in these rocky guitar colors, and it set us on the right foot for this shoot, I thought.
I hope we have time to hear from Renate, because you have so much to say all the time.
Forgive me.
Yeah, because we have like a couple of minutes, so please can you
I'll talk
tell
really
us
fast.
about...
What do you want me to say?
You can't talk as fast as him.
No, I can't. Okay, let's go. No.
No, I wanted to know about, like that particular role, since I saw it a little bit as, I mentioned a side of like what Julie could have been in a different environment. And maybe an expansion of the roles you've played before with him, but it's also a completely different family dynamic and background. And if you approach this differently in working in the film.
Yeah, well, actually, it has some connection because on the set of Worst Person in the World, we got to know each other, and we had a lot of really interesting conversation about traits of characters and themes and other things we really wanted to explore, and we understood and recognized we had the same interest and curiosity about. So kind of the seed of something else started on the set of Worst Person in the World. But I, of course, it was just conversation, and then Eskil and Joachim goes into the secret room that everyone wants to be a fly on the wall on, and then what came out, and when I was presented with this script and the role, it was the difference that I see is that Julie was very naive and open and free, and in an environment that was very a lot freer. This is more contained, and Nora carries a lot more emotional weight. And I think the exploration of what you carry that you can see and what you can't see, and how you can communicate that, and it's so many things I want to say, but how masterfully Eskil and Joachim has written that with words, and or put that in a script, how difficult it is to communicate what we have inside, and because we can't see what we are in full picture. So playing around with that, I see them as very different, because Nora is very set in her ways, or she knows what she is, and she is more grown up and mature in a way, but emotionally not. No. She
has her moments.
She has her moments, yeah. No, but and also that Joachim. No, I don't know. That's probably an answer, right? Yeah.
It's a great answer. I think it's really hard to speak when you're between Joachim and Eskil. I hope they let you participate a little more during the. They're very talkative, like the two of them together.
I thought that was what we were invited to do, my friend. I'll shut up next time.
No. I think it's pretty much when you're working together that you have a really strong collaboration. Yeah, I know. I didn't mean on stage, obviously. We're giving you your own talk.
Thank you.
I do want to thank you for coming. We're running out of time, unfortunately. And thank you, Neon, for opening the film as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.